everybody. I hope you're doing well. And for once YouTube allowed me to get in time. Hi Elaine, hi Lianka, hi Sharon. So why I decided to do this lilac earrings things, and of course you can do lilacs with any other way, I mean not just earrings. And I also know that Rusalina has the most beautiful flower tutorials. Hi Colleen. But hers are a little bit more advanced, and I wanted for everybody to be able to do something that is beautiful. And hi Sweet Pea. And then the other thing is that right now Polyclay Play has a sale on, excuse me, Lavender Primo, which is the perfect color to make lilac blooms. And yes, I did, thank you Colleen, I did cut a little piece of a cluster that was starting to wilt. I usually do not cut flowers from my garden because I don't like the idea of having dying flowers in my house. Only when, you know, we had like a bad storm and some got broken. It usually happens with lilies, because mine can grow over 3 foot tall, and if we have wind, when they are strong winds, they can get broken. So just to show you, and please do not forget to use my affiliate link. And if you do not have, because this cutter is a must, if you do not have it, grab it while you're getting your clay. But let's get right here. So what you do, you come here in the search and you do lavender, and there we go. Look at this price, $198. It's a humongous, oh no, sorry, this is female, never mind. You can get the female too. We want the primo. I guess she doesn't have the lavender, so we're gonna go for the female lavender. Might have to, but don't get the soft, get the professional, which is also I mean, you can get the soft, it's going to be a little bit harder. I think I just saw that sale price and I went woohoo. And I will tell you the recipe for, let's go here and check if she does have the lavender. Go back here, clay, polymer and more, clay, polymer and more, and we want to go for Primo Scorpion Souffle, and we go for Primo. You can use souffle as well. It's a little bit softer. And we make it more than, where the heck was that thing? Let's make it show 20 products per page. What you will need, if you do not find Primo lavender and you want to work with Primo, you will need obviously white, and you will need wisteria as well. You can use the light pink with wisteria and you see excuse me, she has a pretty good sale on Primo as well. Now don't forget the clay might go up in price because a lot of the materials used in making the clay are imported, and with all the tariffs, they are going to jump in price. So no lavender. Translucent, yellow gold. The sets do not have that either. And look again, because I think I haven't seen wisteria. I don't know if you've seen it. 19 karat gold. Sometimes I'm getting confused by this purple here. If you do not have one, if you do not have the other, you can use a tiny bit of violet. Oh yeah, she does have the lavender. There we go. And it is on special. But if you are, as I said, if you are more strapped for cash, I would go for the female, which is exactly the same, is going to do the exact same thing. Let's get back to our, oh no, because actually, give me just a second. To get on the camper cutter. Okay. So you might want, again, as usual, I'm going to show this to you in a larger fashion than normal, so you can see what I'm doing. And you have here a sizing chart that you can download, and measuring, this would be 1/2 inch, so you would need the 1/2 inch one, because that's the widest. The one that I have is 1/2 inch, but you might go even less, like 7/16, and individual size and shape, that's what we want. And we want the lilac, that's how it is called. And you get anywhere from 7/16 to 1/2 inch. You can get them even smaller, but you'll see the way to make the flowers can be a little bit, depending on how your hands are working. I'm gonna be very honest. So, and why I'm saying that you need the 4, because even if some of there will be flowers that have 5, and I think this was one. No, this was not one with 5. I know that I had a 5 petal one. Might have fallen, but oh no, there you go. Here's a 5 petal flower. They are not very common. Most of the lilac blooms will be 4 petals. So trying to make a 5 petal with a camper cutter, it will not look like lilac, because as you can see, it's not, the petals are not separated. You can try and use a star, but still it will not look. So let's just go just with the 4 petal ones. So in order to start, I'm going to, let me see who else came here. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, I love the scent of lilac. It's so pretty. Now I have my spirea is all in bloom. If you haven't seen because I cannot take this outside, but I can show you the photo. Because I have, as I said, I have my spirea in full bloom. And this is the spirea. It's a beautiful thing. And after the spirea, there will be the mock oranges and the pennies and the irises. Let's not forget the irises. So what you want to do first is to get some scrub clay. It doesn't really matter what color it is. And you teardrop it. Also, I want to remind you that because you're gonna cover it in jungle green, and that is something that Primo does not make anymore, but you can find the recipe on the homepage of my website, kalyanadesign.com. If you don't know how to spell it, just go on my channel, and on top there where it gives you the information, click on more, and it's going to show you all my links, my affiliate links and all my presence and the online and everything. So this is pretty much what we want. And one thing, you can cover it before you cut it, obviously, and you can cover it after you cut it. So I already cut it, so I'm going to cover it after. But before you start working on it, I'm going to give this a very, very thin sheet. Talking of which, about the fragrance, I don't know if you remember, but gosh, 7 years ago, almost 8 years, not long after I started my channel, I did an experiment with using essential oils in polymer clay. I also have an older tutorial to make an essential oils diffuser. If you use the search function on my channel, you can look for it, and it involves those itty bitty felt dots that you normally put on the bottom of your furniture, so when you move it, it won't scratch the floor if you have wood. Okay, so we place it first here, and I know it's going to be shiny, but it's fine. You can just gently rub some sandpaper on it to remove the shininess, and you can put some wax or even acrylic paint, golden or whatever color you decide. Now, very important, one end that's going to be the top, you want to do a cut because you want to be able to put in an eye screw type of thing, and then we are going to cover it, and very careful because you do not want any air bubbles there. Very nice. I lost my camera. There we go. You don't need this to be this pointy. And then grab your blade And because you want it to be all nice and flattened on the sides, use the blunt side of the blade and just go pushing, so you're sure that all the clay is nicely wrapped around the bigger thing that you had there. As I said, you can wrap it before you cut it in two, and I recommend to because you could easily have done something like this without having to cut it in two, but if you want to do earrings, this is how you're gonna get them both the same. So I'm going to nicely remove every little speck here. And then very nicely get it all nice and pretty. And there we go. Now comes the making the lilac part. So I am going to grab a piece of this. I don't need a lot because these flowers are fairly tiny, and I'm going to go for the thinnest setting. And another thing we need, and I need to get it down here, is a ball stylus. You can use the end of a paintbrush. So go ahead. I'm going to give it another roll. I'm going to give it another roll with a roller because I want them to be very thin and nice and pretty. And shiny. And when you do this, remember with the waxed part of the paper, it's going to be all nice and shiny here. And then I want it to not be stuck to my tile, so I'm going to get it removed. And you see how I'm gently moving left and right just to make the cut better, so it wouldn't stick to the cutter, because that's the worst part when you cut with these. Even if you have this little pump that removes it from the cutter, still it leaves a little dent, and you pretty much, there you go, need to use the other side. And you might have to clean up a few of them because you don't want any That's why I don't press too hard, because I don't want my clay to stick to the inside of the cutter. And you're gonna say, can't you use Armor All? You can, but then you have to wait until it's completely... Okay, I messed up this one. Okay, so I'm going to look at the ones that need a little bit of cleaning. I'm going to use the other side anyway, right? So, get them on the other side, and then you need to go a little bit in. So you go laterally until you get almost to the end. You don't go all the way to the end. You kind of need a little lip. Again, place it on the other side. I need Armor All on my hand. Okay. And once again, go laterally. And you'll say they don't yet look exactly like the flowers. Well, they will in a minute, trust me. Okay, get it on the other side. So you note that I'm only doing a lateral move with this. And as I said, this is a fairly easy way to make lilacs. And we have all the tools to make this as easy as possible. I'll get some more all on my hand. I did not I forgot to put cream on my hands earlier today, and I do not want to put cream right before I work with polymer clay. And that is something that I have said before, but I will keep repeating it. I know that there are some tutorials out there that tell you that in order to clean your hands when you have worked with strong pigmented polymer clay, to use hand cream to clean your hands. Please, please, please do not do that, because all that yeah, it seems for the moment that yeah, it's going to clean your hands. I mean, you put some hand cream on your hands, you rub your hands, and then you use a paper towel, but by the time you get the paper towel, you would have already absorbed the chemicals. Because think about this, the skin is used to actually deliver medication, because skin absorbs pretty much anything that is moisturizing or oily. So do not use hand cream right before or right after you have worked with polymer clay. The best thing, you can use alcohol, but that's going to dry your skin a lot. The best thing to clean your hands after you have worked with alcohol is lava soap. And after you have washed your hands with lava soap real good, remember the happy birthday song? You have to sing the whole happy birthday song while you're washing your hands, and when you're done, then you know that you washed real good. But what I actually do, I even use, like you see in movies, surgeons clean their hands. I have one of those little brushes that normally are used to clean your fingernails. And that's what I use with lava soap. And after I rinsed and dried my hands real well, that's when I use the hand cream. So I'm done with this series, and we're gonna start putting them together. Before I do that though, I'm going to do another little thing. And why you don't do it before? Because when you use your X-Acto or your ball stylus, you're going to cover it. So we are going to give them a little bit of lines here. Because the cutter is not, and it would be very hard to make the lilacs petal by petal. That's why I'm trying. And you can skip this part entirely. You don't have to do this part. They will be realistic enough from like 5 inches away. Come on, turn around. So I'm gonna leave some without the line so you can see. Then the next thing, do not use you can use a ball stylus, but make sure that it is one that it's thick enough. Do not use the smallest one, because it's going to be too small and not do what you want. I personally prefer to use a toothpick, so do not use this, use this. You can see the difference. But as I said, personally I prefer to use a toothpick because it does more. You will need a little bit of deformation of the bloom. So always start at the bottom. I might have to make more flowers, but let's get this one. And I'm going to place it. I dropped something. I have no idea what I dropped, but I dropped something. Took it from here. Kind of like not all the way to the end, but maybe a quarter of an inch higher. Oops. You can also put a droplet of bacon bond. And that's why I use a baking tile. I'm out of mirrors. Everything is covered with stuff that needs. And then a wider one, and then you can use the bigger one, or again the toothpick. Then let's go on the side. And remember, I am making these bigger than I normally would make them. Oops, I'm trying not to get that. This tile. Sorry, I don't have a mirror one. Hey. And then the middle, and oops, and the middle. Now it is well attached. Another one on the side. Now this tile is noisy. And I'm gonna place it here and then go again on in between the petals. You need to do this. Then the larger, because you want it to be really nicely set in there. I'm going to grab and the same you do with all of them, and it's going to look like exactly like a cluster of lilac blooms. And another thing, I've seen people doing lilac blooms and putting something in the middle for staminas. The stamina is so far in you wouldn't be able to see it unless you get a magnifying glass. It's almost impossible to do it. I will show you in a close-up after I'm done with this. And as I said, this is not super realistic like Rosalina does, but it is something that people who are not super advanced can do, and it will still look pretty and lilac-like. You can make these even thinner if you so desire. And I know it's a piece that requires a little bit more work, but it is worth it. And kind of try to cover all the in-betweens when you place your flower. So this, oops, I did a boo-boo. That will teach me to try. Yeah, this needs a bit of bacon bond. I lost my toothpick. No, I didn't lose it. And then you go all the way, but I'm going to try and finish this setting all the flowers, because there's an extra thing that you can do to make it look even prettier. Yeah, I did place some armor roll. Okay, I think I need, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more. And that was not very well placed. I'm trying to not lift this so I wouldn't bang in your ears, because I know my microphone is picking up almost everything. And you do want empty inside. As I said, you can try and do the staminas, but the staminas on the flowers themselves are pretty unnoticeable. Stay there. And the way that I was talking about, I can grab, if you want, some bacon bond, but that's not hard to figure out. And again, make sure that you have an actual hole, little hole there. And again. So it is a little time consuming, but not too much. Okay, so 3 more, 4 more. And again, I'm using the so I got 5 just in case. I forgot to remove this. And press as much as you can. I know that, remember, my hands don't work that well. That's why mine might have a little bit of lip there. That's why I got more than how many I needed. I can never be sure if I did the cut right. Okay, and once again, the armor of the excess. Alrighty, so, but you can do a whole bunch of these, and you can even do, you can even use them on canes. But I love this color, it's just so gorgeous. Now, honestly, if it were me and if I needed clay, but I still have a ton of Fimo, I would snatch up all the Fimo I could afford, because Fimo is made in Germany. Germany's got taxes, and a lot of people don't realize that. Oh yay, the smartphones and the TVs aren't taxed, but there are some things that are still made in the US, and they need components. And I've seen nothing about components. And a lot of the stuff, again, a lot of the stuff that is made here is made with raw materials from other countries. I haven't seen any raw materials done. So remember that the polymer clay is made with PVC and there it is. And it's It's a type of plasticizers, which are practically a type of silicone oil. And those are mostly imported. I am not entirely sure how many PVC manufacturers we have in the country. Hey. Yeah, I only needed 3. Oh well. And this one I'm going to place it here so this petal will cover the empty thing here. And it's okay if there will still be a little bit of the background scene, because it is pretty much the color of the lilac leaves. And you said that I have a pretty lilac bush. Yes, I do, but you will not believe the story of that lilac bush. That lilac bush, which is about 3.5, maybe 4 foot tall. So that lilac bush is 15 years old. It's an old fashion. I'm gonna go and rearrange some of these petals. It's an old fashioned, and I had it first in the backyard. And I got it when it was about this big. I got it bare root. It was maybe 8 inches tall. And I first planted it in the backyard, but I didn't realize one of the trees was still growing, so I started covering it up, and it wasn't getting full sun. And it was okay in the first 2 years not to bloom because it was still too small, but then I realized that it wouldn't get taller than 1/2 foot and it wouldn't bloom. So in the 4th year I transplanted it in the front yard, and it started growing. It still took it another couple years before it bloomed, and the first time it only made 1 cluster. The second year it made 2 clusters. The third year it made like 4 clusters, and finally, this is the 15th year. It had quite a bit of blooms last year too, but finally this year it fully bloomed, like really, really beautiful. So there we go. We have our little lilac flowers that you can see. They look pretty pretty realistic. And then here, once you bake it, here you can put the you're gonna make a very tiny hole, and then you can put your ice screw. Okay. Yeah, I already have quite a bit of. I didn't know, but I know that there's a lot of varieties of lilac, and I was planning at one point to get some reblooming, but I really like this one. So I know it's not exactly like the real one, but it is close enough. It actually looks more like a ruffled variety. The old style, old-fashioned lilac doesn't have the petals, so okay, let me try and get something in a close-up. Some varieties have more ruffled and more of the things, but again, remember I made this a little bit bigger than I would normally make it. Yes. Alrighty, so there we go. This is what I was going to show you, and you can also put just a little waft of white. Let me actually show you. Just a waft of white chalk pastel if you want. And as I said, if you have it wisteria, you can make your own, and that would be about 3 parts white, 1 part wisteria. If you have that and you don't want to spend money on extra clay. But unfortunately, the Kemper cutter is a must because it's the easiest way to do this. And you can work with even a thinner sheet of clay. As I said, it all depends on how good your hands are. All right, let's see with a little bit of, let me find a good brush for this. So thank you, Christine. Thank you, Darla. Thank you, Rhonda. Okay, so I'm going to grab just a little bit of this and then go in. It will be very subtle, but it will give it a more realistic look, because you see that the regular flowers are subtly lighter in the middle. Okay. Alrighty, so I said I was going to get a close-up, and please don't go away after I finish, because I do have a very important thing to tell you. Okay, now let's see. I was talking about how deep the staminas are in the... See, it's super, super deep. You can only see it if you use a magnifying glass. It is somewhere in there, but it is super, super deep. It would make absolutely no difference if you don't put anything there. And see, there's a subtle whitish. Okay, so this is what I showed you today, and I am sorry and I apologize that I have to do this, but I don't know anymore where to turn anymore. I am on the brink of getting my house back, but I need a total of $2,500 for a lawyer's fee. Not mine, his, but unfortunately I fell again on the day the hearing was supposed to be, and I wasn't able to make it to the hearing. I put in a motion to try and get another hearing. I heard nothing from that, so the order from that is final. So that's all I need. I do have about 500. I probably could. I've put some of my stuff, my electronics, out for sale on Facebook Marketplace, but I probably would need another 1,000. So if you think, do not do this on YouTube. Do not do this on YouTube. If you think you can help me, even $1 from here and $1 from there would come together. Please use the donation link on my website. Remember, you can go on my channel and you click here for more, and this is my website, and it is PayPal. Okay, so here is the donation thing, and you don't need PayPal. You can just use a card. I will receive it in my PayPal, but I will receive it right away, and this whole thing is for in about 10 days. I need to get that. Oh, sorry, I showed all this without clicking properly. So on my channel, you go here to more, you go on Kalyana Design website, and it is here, donation, because YouTube will not give me anything until next month, and that is way too late. So if you think you can help me, I will be exceptionally grateful. And once I get out of this, I'll be able to work again, because you cannot even imagine how much stress I've been under this last year or more. But because I have a really bad time trying, that's why I went through the mortgage. Fortunately, I was accepted, but that's where I fall short, because I'm only accepted for a certain amount, and this whole lawyer fee goes over that amount. So I hope that whoever hears this can help me. As I said, just a little bit, and it can still add up and help. And pray with me that my stuff gets sold on Marketplace. So I would hate to stumble at this final point and lose my house right when I'm almost ready to get it. So thank you so much. I hope you will like this, and have a wonderful, wonderful week. Be careful about storms this coming week, because by what I saw, we are not looking forward to nice weather, especially in this old and new tornado alley. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.